Just sum that one up first of all, Andy, from your point of view.
First half, I thought they exposed a little bit of our team selection in terms of obviously that right edge lacking a little bit of that lateral speed and that, you know, defending at 3-man, etc. And they executed a couple of plays, which obviously posted them some points, and the scoreboard just got away from us. You know, there was a 15-minute period there where, you know, the scoreboard just blew out. We managed to get to grips with it second half, but I thought the first score of the second half was important from a confidence point of view. And unfortunately, we make an error when we're carrying the ball, which gives them field position, and then they managed to get a couple of sets, and we defended those couple of sets well, and you're thinking great stuff, we've turned them away, and then they scored, you know, in that third set of, you know, the pressure that they'd built, and that sort of like burst a little bit of that bubble. You know, credit to Hull FC, you know, I thought, you know, they looked sharp, and, you know, a couple of players that they executed really challenged us, and we just weren't able to deal with it.
Just give us an insight into how tough it's been to put a side together this week. 8 changes. I think Nathan Massey's only played in the same position as last week.
Yeah, really tough. Had illness, injuries, and then trying to piece the team together. We had to send people home on Tuesday because, you know, so many people were coughs, colds, splutters, and, you know, the dreaded diarrhoea and sickness. So, you know, that impacts on your energy levels. What we tried to do was like contain it and make sure that we sent players away from obviously the training environment. We managed to get the guys back in on Thursday. Did a little bit of a session, but energy was a little bit down on Thursday when we looked at our obviously markers from a sports science point of view. And then the conditions today were obviously really sapping of energy, and you know, I think that was telling today.
Jacob Hookham, you managed to give him his debut today. How did you think he went in the time that he was on the field?
Yeah, he did okay. I think obviously Hull FC spotted him up a little bit and tested his obviously physicality from a defensive point of view, but he showed some nice touches, you know, come up with a couple of kick plays. He'll be better for that experience.
It's difficult to say with it being such a makeshift team, but did you see some advancements, some improvements today?
In the team, it's so hard with the amount of players that we've got out of position. It's difficult to, you know, really gauge, you know, if there was them improvements and advancements, like you say. You know, it's quite clear that we aren't good enough at the moment. You know, we're low on confidence. We've got too many players out of form, and we're just not quite united and together as we need to be. And that's a challenge. We've got to try and remain positive and try and become tighter and more united and fight a little bit harder, compete a little bit harder for one another. And that's the only way that your season will turn around, by, you know, sticking in that fight together.
I thought Brad Martin had a really good game. Would you agree?
Yeah, Brad Martin. You know, he tried hard. Obviously, he's, you know, not played at that level for a while. You know, got out on that left edge. You know, he tired a little bit, so we took him off, and then, you know, he got back on there with, you know, about 50 minutes ago. So, you know, Brad will be better for that run.
Obviously, you don't want to go out the Challenge Cup, and we said going into the game that a good Challenge Cup performance could translate into Super League. Where do you feel this now leads you as you pick back up into Super League?
I think it's important that we just make sure that we stick together and, you know, look at what we can do between now and Friday in terms of, you know, team selection and getting some more senior bodies back in those key positions, and, you know, get them, you know, really driving, you know, the second half of the season, because it's quite apparent that our first half of the season hasn't been anywhere, you know, at the level that we need it to be. We're looking to obviously have a real good second half of the season, and that'll start on Friday.
And it's early days in terms of selection, but how different could that team look next week?
Yeah, it could look different. Hopefully we'll get one or two bodies back. We'll assess things after the fallout from today's game, and, you know, we'll have those discussions moving forward on Monday.
Thanks, Andy.
Did you have many out with actual illness last game?
Yeah, Kenny was struggling a little bit. There was Gaz with it was obviously an ankle. Miller was HIA, but it impacted a little bit on the energy levels during the course of the game. So, yeah, tough.